Hi, everyone. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes here to explain what you need to do for the Journal 8 assignment. So let's go ahead and take a look at it here. Okay. So like always, you want to set a timer for yourself for 8 to 10 minutes and, start that timer once you begin typing your response to the prompt. Try to type for the whole time, even if you start to go off topic, but at least start on topic so that you get, your ideas about the prompt included in the response. And then if you go off topic towards the end of the timer, that's fine. Just do your best to write for the full time. Now, this prompt for Journal 8, you actually have several options, right? But they all come back to sort of one general idea, right? So it says, we have all probably worked for or with a wide variety of people. People who view and do their jobs in different ways. People who conduct themselves in different ways while on the job. People who handle situations in different ways while at work, right? Different types of people you have worked with. All right, so keeping these ideas in mind, choose one of the options below to complete your journal response. Option A is to identify several different types of bosses you have worked with in the past or present, right? So the idea is to think of different types of people who fill these roles, not to discuss specific people you've worked with. So based on your experience, how would you categorize different kinds of bosses? So list your categories and explain each one. What characteristics does each type of boss possess? Right, so we're thinking here like different types of bosses. I could think of the micromanager, right? The boss who has to just be in control of every single little detail. You have the lazy boss, the boss who really just doesn't do their job. You have the friendly boss, which sounds good at first, but perhaps this is the type of boss who is too friendly and plays favorites. Maybe you have the compassionate boss, right? The boss who, has a job to do and has to make sure his employees get their jobs done, but it is empathetic and compassionate and understanding to personal situations. Right? So there's a wide variety here. So think about your work experience and see if you can come up with different types of bosses you have worked with, right? If that doesn't appeal to you or you're having a hard time coming up with different types, like maybe you have really only worked with one type of boss, it's possible, right? You can go to option B, perhaps. Option B is the same exact thing, but instead of bosses, we're looking at coworkers. So identify several different types of coworkers you've worked with, right? And again, the idea is to, think of the different types of people, not specific people. Obviously, the specific people are going to help you form your categories, but when you type your response, I don't want you mentioning specific people. It's not about your stories of these people. It's about categorizing different types of coworkers, right? So based on your experience, how would you categorize different types of coworkers? List your categories and explain each one. What kinds of characteristics does each type of coworker possess in general, right? So again, you could have the lazy coworker. You could have the chatty coworker. You could have the manipulative coworker. All different types of categories for who you work with. And then if you really haven't had much work experience, because I know our classes, the ages run the gamut. And, there are some people out there, who are younger, maybe haven't had a lot of jobs, or maybe even if you aren't that young, maybe, you have chosen other directions. Maybe you were raising your family and really haven't had a lot of jobs yet, right? That's why you're here. So if looking at bosses and coworkers is really throwing you and you're like, I don't know if I can do this, I think option C might be the one for you then, because I think everybody could do this one. So it's still the same idea, except now we're gonna, you're gonna do classmates instead. Identify several different types of classmates that you've worked with. All right, and again, types, not specifics, not specific people. We're not calling out names. We're forming categories based on our experience, right? How would you categorize different kinds of classmates? List your categories and explain each one. What characteristics does each type of classmate possess? All right, so you may have the overachieving classmate, the one who is just on top of everything, answers all the questions, aces every quiz, every exam, and puts a lot of pressure on themselves to do so. You might have the chatty classmate. Those are there too, right? You might have the if you're thinking back to high school especially, but perhaps even in college, you might have like the class clown, right? The one who's always trying to make everyone laugh. You could have the absent classmate, the one who, doesn't seem to be there as much as they're supposed to. And again, you don't have to base this just on what you're experiencing here at ATA. You can go back to like your high school experience, or if you have, taken classes at other colleges. It doesn't have to just be your experience here at ATA. So I think between those three options, everyone should find one that fits them and appeals to them most. But again, remember, it's only one of them, A, B, or C. Got it? All right. So again, do your best to type nonstop for those 8 to 10 minutes. Try to have this finished by Sunday night. And if you have questions or run into problems, reach out right away. Otherwise, I look forward to reading your responses to this journal.